Right, hello there everyone. Welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome to another show. I have been an absolutely lazy bugger today. I've done a couple of shows, but really that's YouTube and that's not a job. I'm sitting next to a man, screen to screen, of someone who's worked tirelessly all day, had to watch Tottenham all season and has been on a run as we literally speak, and just came back and sat down to do a show with me. It is man like tapping Tobes. How are we, son?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Jeez.
What can I say? What can I say? It's been a mixed 24 hours. I'm seeing all the jokes flying, and
Yeah,
obviously we'll get into it. But
it's entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad to have you. And there was a method to the madness of getting you on at this time. To be fair, I also wanted to get you on just to get a conclusion on how you felt Tottenham had done in the season anyway. But now that we've seen the West Ham thing, I saw you on Big Six, and I feel this game involves when you see people's weaknesses. And what's our weaknesses as football fans? It's our rivals, it's our competitors, really, because if they're doing well, then that's something that you can get at you towards. If you don't like a team and you see them win, that's not good. You don't like West Ham, they're not notoriously successful and they got a trophy before you. How do you feel?
I mean, to be honest, I'm a bit annoyed because I told Dan Lawless all season that they're not going to win it. They're not going to win it. So I'm a bit annoyed that they've won it. I know everyone's celebrating. Oh my God, it's so great that West Ham have won a trophy, but I don't like West Ham. I don't like West Ham fans. And I don't like the Conference League, but at the very least, if I was in the Conference League, I would want to win it too. So, fair play to them for winning it. But in the grand scheme of things, I think people are sort of over-egging this. Oh, West Ham win the European trophy before Spurs and Arsenal, right? West Ham have won the Intertoto Cup and like the Cup Winners' Cup or something like that. They've never won the UEFA Cup. They've never won the Champions League. So technically, they haven't won a European trophy before Tottenham. They might have before Arsenal, but they haven't won one before Tottenham. Spurs have
What's
won.
your Tottenham? What's your trophy? I was thinking about this if I was getting it right.
Cups. Spurs have won 2 UEFA Cups. Two, right?
I've half got to remove Spurs out the title.
Yeah,
I'm not going to because I can't be bothered. But you are right.
So,
if they've won the UEFA Cups.
There you go. So obviously I get it. People want to run the jokes and stuff, but Spurs have won the UEFA Cup. I think Spurs are one of the first English teams to actually win a European trophy back when.
Yeah, that must have been time ago.
Was in black and white, and then we won it. I think it was like the 1980s as well with Ricky Villa as well. So listen, West Ham, props to them. I think they're going to do their parade and stuff, and rightly so. It's a recognized European trophy at this point in time. So fair enough to them. And for them, it's their first trophy in 55 years. It's their first trophy in 5 years. So I get it. There's a huge need to banter Spurs. Oh, Spurs. Oh, yeah. Spurs ain't won a trophy and stuff. But grand scheme of things, 55-year wait for a trophy versus a 14-year wait. But yet we're the ones that are getting bantered. It's all good.
The Spurs agenda's real, because, going into this video, Tobes, I had in mind Spurs are the most pathetic football club in the Premier League. And don't get me wrong, I was going to say, yes, are still up there, but I'm just thinking now in hindsight, like actually knowing this in for me, 2 UEFA Cups, even if it was in black and white, who cares? Like, that's still significance in terms of what we define history. So when we say 6 European Cups, we're including the ones that were also years ago, way before most of us was born, because we want to put it all together. So that's gotta matter. That context matters, and that's a thing. Do you know one thing I enjoyed, Toby? Not just your appearances on the Big Six, but I also enjoyed the piece that you, Expressions, Abby, etc., all done. Do you know where you sat round on DR Sports and you spoke about Spurs? It was really interesting to hear your sort of opinion as Spurs has gone, has evolved or de-evolved over time. How do you feel that Spurs in this new chapter, because you've just appointed Postecoglou, and he's someone who's highly favoured.
Call him Ange.
Ange, my man Ange. Thank you for. I need that as well because some of these names, you know the score. But Aussie manager. That in itself isn't the thing that solidifies him. It's more his time at Celtic. I don't know what he's done prior to that. From what I've seen, is very minimal, so I can't really put a position on whether I think he's going to be good or bad. I do think a different type of manager opposed to your normal flashy big name managers. I think that's something that you've needed, but it's just, is this the guy? I don't know. Can you tell me more?
Um, is this the guy? Well, I guess time will tell, really and truly. I must admit, when he was linked, I didn't want him at Spurs.
Mm.
Um, not
What does he
because
need to do for him to become the guy first? Sorry, keep that note, but what does he need to do for him to become the guy? So based on where you have been, which is what, 8th at the moment, where
yeah,
does he need to take you to be the person that you can at least invest to as a head coach at your football club?
just change how Spurs are play, change how Spurs have played, right?
Okay.
Take us from a counter-attacking team to a progressive team, right? Uh, I think obviously he prides himself on being like a really strong attacking football type manager, right? But fundamentally, just change the way that Spurs have played over the last 4 or 5 years, man. Get us playing further up the pitch, get us controlling games better, get us having like a multi-functional attack that isn't over reliant on one player. Get us with consistent patterns of play that can actually beat teams as well, and get us being flexible, being able to
Mm,
adapt, being able to actually play a way that the fans can get behind. Do you get what I'm saying? Because
yep.
the last 12 months with a manager that I really liked, I haven't been able to really get behind what I've been seeing because it's just not been good enough, right? So um, I think with him, the bar is very low this upcoming season. The bar, on top of the bar being very low, I do think the type of manager he is, he will be given time. And I think he'll be given time by the club. And I think he'll be given time by the fans as well, especially from what I'm seeing. I know there are still some fans that don't like his appointment, but me, I'm calm with it, man. I'm genuinely calm with it now.
That's
And
good.
the more I do my research about him, the more I hear him speak, the more I see how he wants to set his teams up, the more I actually like him. And I cannot lie. I think I'm actually starting to like Ange Postecoglou, and I really, really, really want him to do well. So, me personally, when he was announced, I was calm with it, man. I was calm with it. I think I went through the stage of, oh, it's SPO, it's SPO. And yes, that's always going to be at the back of my mind. Oh, I hate that. I hate how bad that league is. And I still don't think that league is a good barometer of quality. But the pure fundamentals of football, like his footballing philosophy, how he wants to set his teams up, those are the characteristics that we need. So if
Mm,
Spurs have now hired a manager that's going to play a 4-3-3, that's going to use inverted wing backs, that's going to keep our attack further up the pitch, that's going to actually play with a lot more verticality and pace and speed, I'm all for it, man. So literally bring on Big Ange, and I genuinely, hand on heart, I hope he's a bona fide success. And to be honest, I disappointment is more on Enoch than it is on Ange. I think Ange is just a
I get
coach.
you.
Ange looks
Yeah,
like a
yeah, yeah.
competent coach if you give him the right pieces, right? So it's up to Enoch to give him the right pieces.
Questions is really just the overall questions, not even just directly towards yourself. Is one, can the manager maximise what he's got at the moment? Two, can the club themselves get the players they need to get out and then bring in the players that the manager needs to play the style that he wants? Because what Spurs have been built up, probably through the last 3 successive managers who were all defensive first, is the guys who are going to be more reserved, and that's why you've still got the likes of Eric Dyer in the team, who's probably couple of years overstay at least, or at least
Yeah,
overstayed in the starting 11. So I think in that aspect, it's good that you've got a manager who, yes, has a better style of play, but I said the same with Ten Hag when he went to Manchester United, and this is a whole different level. But when you've got incompetent owners, I think a good manager can only do so much if he hasn't got the right players.
yeah,
And it's like expecting Pep Guardiola to go and manage Manchester City's under 21s and then see if he can still win the league with them. It's like, no, yeah, obviously he'll still help them, but it's the players itself as well that still need to be identified, and they need to do the job. It's not just the coach's tactics, because you can tell a player to play in one position, but if they can't maximise or don't have any sort of eye for a defensive game, or if they're an attacker and they don't have an eye for a goal, it's pretty pointless on what a coach can do. He can only tell them where to be and when to be. And try and maximise their game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. I also like the way he's Australian. I think there's some more of a connection, someone who, English with it being his first language, not even more the connection. I just mean, when someone's fuming and they can fully transparently say what they want to say in
yeah,
the
yeah,
language, exactly
yeah,
word for word. I don't know, I just feel like that resonates, and with the fact he's now at least accustomed himself to winning, he can bring something to the forefront to where it's
Yeah,
like, okay, listen, we've won before. We know what he's been through, that type of experience. It's just
you
better than
see,
previous appointments.
yeah, I feel like obviously it's a complete mismatch in terms of like CVs and experience, right? Because he can't stack up to a Conte, he can't stack up to a Jose Mourinho. But what he can do is he can actually be more about his management of the squad, like coaching, thorough coaching of the team. And I think to your question about like whether he can maximize this squad, I feel like that's dependent on what he's given by Enoch, right? Because there are some players that I don't expect him to maximize because I'm like, they're all maxed out in terms of what they can offer Spurs. They're crap. I don't
Yeah.
expect him to come here and make Sessegnon a world beater because he's rubbish. I don't expect him to come in and make Eric Dyer a Ruben Diaz region because he's crap. These are players that need to be moved on. But what I would like to see him do, and what I think is a realistic aim, is okay. Can you get Pedro Porro kicking on? Build upon his first couple of months at the club. Can you integrate Destiny Udoji into the team well enough? Can you get Richarlison scoring more goals? Can you get Son scoring more goals? Can you get Kulusevski back into a rhythm that can benefit the team? And all of these things are, it's not just all on Ange. The player has to give something as well. But fundamentally, these are signs, small signs that I'm looking for, like marginal gains. But changing the entire way we play, we need new players ultimately. But within
I
the
feel you.
current we have, there are still a couple that you can potentially see Ange taking forward, like Basuma. Can you make Basuma a bit more prominent next season, right? Like, can you do these things? Can you do these things? Can you get something out of Ndombele, for instance, right? So like it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting, man. I feel like what history normally Spurs history normally states that like when we get a manager that is relatively unknown, plucked from obscurity, low level, and more about his man management and his actual day-to-day coaching of the team as opposed to like Hollywood big name, it normally works. It normally works quite well for Spurs. Martin Yo was plucked from obscurity, and within a season, we were challenging for top four. We finished like fifth back to back under Martinho. Harry Redknapp came in. We know two top four finishes in 4 years. Pochettino came in within a year. Within 2 years, he had Spurs challenging for a title. So listen, man. I'm rooting for Ange. Honestly, I'm rooting for Ange, and I think just from a personal perspective as well, I like his personality, man. Genuinely, I like his personality. I think I really like the way he speaks, and I think I like his attitude to football, and I like his determination to succeed, and I like the way he resonates with his fan bases, man. I saw the way he spoke on Celtic's fan base, and I feel like if he can endear himself to Spurs fans the way he did to Celtic fans, mate, he's gonna be a real likable character, man. Obviously, the football is what's gonna be the defining factor, but as I said,
Definitely.
that's not purely down to him. I think you need Enoch. You need Enoch to do their bit there, man.
Get the players accustomed. A few questions before we wrap this up, Toby, just because a lot of people are asking you a couple of
Yeah.
questions. Yeah, Toby, when will Lawless meet you?
So yeah, I'm gonna see. Look, so we got a stream tomorrow on Dan Potts' channel. So I'm gonna
Jeez.
face the
That's where the
music.
A-star content is, people. That's
Yeah,
where the A-star
yeah,
content
yeah.
is. Get
Gonna
it
face
over
the
there. Also
music.
on Toby's channel.
Yeah, gonna face the music tomorrow, and then I probably might see him on Saturday because there's a Champions League sort of thingy above that. I'm probably gonna see him out in person. So yeah, yeah, should be a fun
Well,
couple
there
of
you go,
days.
people. There you go, people. That's where you'll see the cooking. What's a realistic goal for next season? I think if you can push for Europa League, that's a good achievement for Spurs.
Yeah. So realistic goal next
If you can do
season.
that playing good football and then maybe even get a little cup run in there, I think that's a good
This is
season.
it. This is it. So my three things for next year. So I literally did a video on this recently. So what I would like to see from Ange next year is make a push for top six, right?
Yep.
Change the way of playing, right? It's not going to be perfect, right? I don't expect us to be playing like Barcelona within a year, but I want to see noticeable differences in how we play and make a better fist of the cup competitions. I don't expect Ange to win the League Cup, the FA Cup, but make a better fist of it. Take it a bit more seriously.
And if he gets knocked out in the semi-finals, but it's a hard-fought game and you've been playing well all season, you won't just look at the manager and hate that, that. Obviously, you can be constructive based on how he sets out for that game, and if he loses because of his tactics, then you can say that. So context matters, but if he just lost through a tight game or whatnot, that's not a big issue for you as long as you stay consistent in the league.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel you.
If we don't finish in the top 6, but I can see the clear signs of improvement. I can see players
like if young players are coming into the team and they're getting better, and there's it's kind of heavy because we've been having a go at people, but a project type idea, you know what I mean?
Yeah, literally.
Need it.
If there are notable signs of improvement, then there's no reason for me to be fully upset, because I am now, unfortunately, more realistic than ever on the position Spurs are in terms of our squad personnel and just our overall football club. We're just not that good.
I'll get you, mate. Speaking of really good, I'm not going to lie. I think probably one of the more underspoken heroes of the season, Harold Kane. Unbelievable season. Wow, what a striker. But can't believe the way people talk about him, because I feel like if people are going to speak about Alan Shearer the way they do, I do think you've got to mention Harry Kane in the same breath. And people really do just define it down to trophies, but come on, he's not just like a poacher. He's also somebody who is everything else combined of what you want from a striker. And he might be leaving. Do you think he's going to leave? Second of all, how do you think that hinders the team and the new process? Do you think maybe it's a good thing because it gives you that full restart, or do you think it's more beneficial just to have him for another year?
So I do think he's going to leave. If not this summer, then next summer.
Okay.
My preference is that we don't lose Harry Kane for £0. I would like to get a sizable fee for Harry Kane.
So would you rather sell him now than let him go for free next summer, or would you rather keep him?
I would rather sell him now than let him go for free next summer. In terms of the happiness, I don't think I'd be happy to see him go, but I'm resigned to it and I've accepted it. Will Spurs be better for it? Who knows? I'm always of the belief that a top team should have at least one bona fide world-class player that can sort of just pull you out the mud. And that's what Harry Kane can do. But on the flip side, whereas I don't think it's happy that Harry Kane's leaving, I don't necessarily think that it has to be complete doom and gloom forever for Spurs. I feel like with the right signings, with the right director of football in place, you can compensate for Harry Kane potentially leaving. Of course, there's going to be a drop-off. Nobody expects Spurs to lose a 30 Premier League goal striker and not feel that. You're going to feel that, right? In those games where nothing's happening and then Harry Kane just decides the game like that. You're not gonna
just by himself. It's what he does.
Exactly. You're not going to have that factor. But what you might have is you might get more goals from Richarlison because he's probably playing more games. You might get more goals from Son. We might get another attacker who comes in and chips in with goals as well. So
you're not adhering to just one player mainly type idea.
Exactly. So even though we may not climb up the table straight away, maybe long term it will give us, and in fact, it's not maybe, it forces us to finally reevaluate the way we want to actually build our attack, because our attack, the way it's built now, it just, even with Harry Kane, we're finishing 8th. So with or without Harry Kane, we need to change the way we're playing. And if he's here, great. If he's not here, it makes our job harder, but it's something that we still need to do anyway.
Facts, my brother. Facts. Toby, tell these people that I taught you everything you know when it comes to gym. Did you know that when Toby lifted his first weight, I was the one who helped him? Like, he was struggling and he was shaking. Remember Toby, the little 10 kgs, and he was like this, he was like this. I was like, it's okay. Got me little, just picked it up like that, and it was sound. It was happy days. And now look at the size of him. Don't worry. Yeah. If you need any PTs, I'm very limited at the moment. You know what I mean?
I think you gave me tips when you were on your boxing vibe as well, because there was a period of boxing vibe as well. So I was like,
listen, so the inspiration is just endless when it comes to the James Redmond world. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is just the way we operate over here. Someone's just asked me if I'd take Mason Mount. To be honest, he wouldn't have ever been my only option, the same way that I don't want McAllister to be our only midfielder. Like, this is my stance on McAllister, by the way, is the sort of, by himself, okay, but not good enough. with 2 other players, a great signing. Like, that's the way I'm looking at McAllister. You know, if you bring him in around Henderson and Fabinho, that's a bit of a different case. But then I would have had the same application to Mount. Systematically, would have been a nice player for the team. I think Klopp could have got a tune out of him. But if it was just Mason Mount and then no other additions, that would have been a problem. The same way I said that Jude Bellingham by himself would have been a problem. So I'm happy we've not gone with the Bellingham route, as shameless as we all was about that, and we've opted to go with it. And it weren't even our choice, let's be honest. We just couldn't get that player. And then now we've opted to go in the market of what we're used to, which is the next big thing, hopefully. So that's the sort of take on Mount there. What do you think of the McAllister business?
I think it's good. I think it's a good price, man. I think it's a really good price. 35 million. 35 million, I would say that's probably 10 million less than what I would consider his market value personally. So I still think that that's a cut price. That's a good cut price deal for Liverpool. But I also believe that the price that was initially quoted for him, like 70, 80 million, was a joke.
That was mad.
Like, he's a good player. Don't get it twisted. But come on, 70, 80 million after.
Is that McAllister?
McAllister, yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, Mount's the same, innit? Mount's a similar price, or being reported at a similar price.
Yeah, even Mount as well, man. Mount it's ludicrous to me. It's ludicrous that Chelsea are asking for 70 million pounds with a year left on his deal. Like, that is mental. Like, I'm sorry. He's not even worth 70 million if he had 5 years on his contract. And I like Mason Mount. Again, a good player. For me, his market value, even with English tax, I'm thinking max 55 million.
50. Max. I'm thinking 50. Yeah, I'm thinking around there.
Million, even with English tax, because as good as he is, there's a lot of issues in his game that means that he can't just go into a team and just slot and play the most advanced, play the number 10, because he's not that creative. He can score goals. He's good on set pieces, but he's not that creative in open play. And he is quite selfish with the ball at times, right? I don't know. I feel like he's not someone who protects the ball. Like, Mason Mount isn't a ball protecting midfielder. He's someone who's self-serving almost to a certain extent, and he's always looking to see how he can impact the game in the final third, which isn't necessarily a bad thing per se, but it can be bad when you need someone who can actually, like, keep the ball secure. Do you get what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I feel like, good player, but sorry, 70 million, you're having a laugh. You're having an absolute laugh.
That's a lot of money, to be fair. Is that a Nigeria top that you're wearing? Someone curious.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
jeez. Represented loud and proud. How do Nigeria do internationally on footy, Tobes? Are you good?
Let's not talk on Nigeria. Nigeria.
Who's your best player?
Probably Osimhen right now.
Oh, Osimhen plays for Nigeria. Come on, Tobes. Don't leave me hanging there, brother. That's a world-class player.
Yeah. Osimhen plays for Nigeria, but the thing is, we can't cater. The system we play is just not. It doesn't get the best out of our better players. Like, I feel like at times we leave Victor like cut off. We don't supply him with enough service, man. I don't know, man. I feel like there's a real midfield issue with Nigeria. The coaches we've had in the past have not been proper coaches, and the midfield stability is all over the shop. You have Ehianacho playing in number 10. You have wingers who don't really want to cross the ball properly. It's just, man. Nah, not good enough. Not good enough. Nigeria.
It's one of those. It's one of those where, like, obviously Liverpool have the thing with England, and I'm not really one of those who heavily backs an international team. If I was to back one, it's England, and they're dead underwhelming as well, and it's crap, and it's one of those things. So you've got the worst pick of the bunch. You've got two crap national teams to support. Yeah. So unlucky. Going on, James Tobe, correct that idiot, Saeed. That's not fair. Let me see why he's calling him an idiot first, because Saeed can be an idiot.
Man made a video. West Ham have more European trophies than Arsenal have less. Arsenal
Spurs have less European. Okay. Well, I'm an idiot as well.
So he said his exact words to me last night were, he doesn't care. Agenda over everything. That's what he said.
Yeah, neither do I. That's why I've kept the title the way it is. Right, apparently Arsenal won European gold in 1994. Tobes, can you attest to this?
I'm not too sure. But
Yeah,
I know they've won. I think they have won a European trophy, but yeah, I think it's one of those like cup winners' cup trophies again.
Oh no, that doesn't matter. If they won a UEFA Cup or a Champions League, I'll give them that because that's a tournament format. That's proper. You know what I mean? What's a Cup Winners' Cup? What was Cup Winners' Cup? Was that just like one-off games or
I can't remember.
4 teams?
I can't remember. Yeah.
Can't talk about the Cup Winner Cup. What about Iwobi? Isn't he a 5-star skiller for the Nigerian?
I don't really
Come on,
rate
he's
Iwobi
boss.
highly.
He's
I don't
boss.
really rate Iwobi
He's Everton's
highly.
best player. What do you mean?
he's
What
one
he
of
is?
he's one of the better players for sure. But I feel like we don't really use Iwobi correctly. Like I feel like Iwobi is an 8 for me. He's always been an 8. But we've got Iwobi, we've got Joe Aribo as well. Like we actually have some good players, but for some reason or another, we don't have a coach that's been able to piece it all together, man.
I feel you, fam. Toby, thank you so much for coming on the channel, brother. What a boss chat that was. Like always insightful, always knowledgeable. Facts being spit between the two.
No worries, bro. Anytime, man.
My G. Guys, please go subscribe to Toby. His YouTube channel is in the title. Click on that. Doesn't even take you away from the video. Go subscribe. It feels like I've had like a president who's hated on this show because the amount of people that are looking for you at the moment. So it was good that I could get you on first. So I appreciate the time, lad. But no, guys, smash a like. Always remember to do it. Takes a second. Go subscribe to Toby, and we will see you all, beautiful people, in a bit. Peace.